Hello students, so for this video, we will be using graphs to solve ratio problems. So I will be doing try it number 3. It's under section 3.4 under example 2. Let me maximize this problem and let's read number 3. You buy dark chocolate cashews for $15 per pound. So represent the ratio relationship using the graph. So you are given the coordinate plane and then it's already labeled for you. Your x-axis represents the cashews in pounds, and your y-axis represents the cost in dollars. Next, part B says, how much does 2.5 or 2 and 5 tenths pounds of dark chocolate cashews cost? Now, this is where you write your answers, okay? So let's try it first. Let's do part A. So how would we represent the ratio relationship using a graph? Yes, we do need our ordered pairs. So when we do need our ordered pairs, we need to get the equivalent ratios of $15 per pound. Now, how do we know which ones are X and Y? Well, you're already given your coordinate plane labeled. So you get your cashews, your X-axis, and your Y would be your cost in dollars. So let's try that out. I'm gonna undo the focus. Here we go. Now, I'm gonna write the ordered pairs on this side. So our ordered pairs, so our X and our Y. So I'm going to do that. It's not even straight. Okay, trying my best here. There you go. So our X is represented by our, exactly. So let me change the color. It represents the weight, the pounds. Okay, so this will be the pounds or the weight, and this will be the cost in dollars. Okay, and our ratio is $15 per pound. So we already know that under pounds, if you buy 1 pound, it costs you $15. So your X is usually your independent variable, and your Y is your dependent. It means that the cost depends on the amount of pounds or the number of pounds you buy. Okay, so if you buy 2 pounds, if you add another pound, that means you need to add another 15, and that makes it 30. If you do buy 3 pounds, then that means you add another 15, and that gives you $45. It would cost $45. Now, we do have our ordered pairs, all right? So our ordered pairs would be ordered. Oh, I need to improve my handwriting again. Pairs our X and our Y, that would be 1 and 15. For 2 pounds, costs 30 bucks. For 3 pounds, it costs $45. So let's try to answer the problem. Okay. So first, let me use the focus button. 1 and 15. So X is 1, so this is the cashews. So X is 1, Y is 15. You go up 15, and that's your dot. This costs 1 pound, costs $15. Now 2 pounds costs $30. There we go. And Big Ideas just automatically connect the line for you. I'm not even done plotting number 3, the third ordered pair. The third ordered pair means 3 all the way up here on this line, which is 45, and it hits it. So remember, these points right here on the line, these are equivalent ratios. Any value on this line would give you an equivalent ratio of 1 to 15. Okay, don't forget that. Now, let's try to answer the question. How much does 2.5 pounds of dark chocolate cost? How much does 2.5? So if we were to do that, 2.5, if I were to hit this, 2.5 pounds. We're talking about pounds, not dollars, pounds. So we're going to circle this one right here. Okay, that's 2.5 pounds. Let me change color. So that means how much would you pay if you buy 2.5? So let me draw this line. I'll be careful making it straight. Slowly, slowly. And it hits our graph, our line right there. So this is where we stop. From here, where do we go? Exactly, we go to the left and check where does this line hit on the values here on our y-axis, right? Now, I'm gonna try my best to make it straight. I don't have a ruler. Da, da, da. This is very exciting. Look at that. Da, 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 da. Oops. It hits here. This is where it hits, right here. So this is in between 35 and 40. So what's the difference of 35 and 40? It's 5, right? 40 minus 35 is 5. So the difference is $5. So if the difference is $5, what's in between? What's half of $5? $2.50. Exactly. So you're going to add $2.50 to 35 because it's on the middle of 40 and 35. So our answer would be, this would be, let me change color. I'm going to use green. This right here, this is 37 and 50 cents. That would be your Y. And your X is 250. Here you go. So this is your X and this is your Y. This is your ordered pair. Oops, that's too far. There you go. This is your ordered pair. So when you buy 2.5 pounds of cashews, you pay $37.50. And let's write our answer. So we pay 37 and 50 cents. Now let's check if our answer is right. Voila, everything's right. Now let's do our next problem. Okay, for our next problem, it says, just by looking at the graph, determine who earns a greater hourly wage. So that means who earns more money, right? So who earns more money? For example, when you compare two things like who earns more, we need to have the same number of hours, right? For example, for 1 hour, one person earned $10 and the other person earns $5. So now we can compare who earns more because we have one base, which is our point of reference, which is 1 hour. So the same goes for this graph. So on this graph that we see earnings as our y-axis and we see our time as our x-axis. So the higher the earnings you have, that means your line should be a bit higher than the other, right? So among those lines, who do you think has a higher or a steeper line? When you say steeper, it means the line is almost horizontal, almost vertical. Now, which of these two? Exactly. You have a steeper line. So that means you earn more. So let's prove that. How do you know that you earn more? So I'm going to use this green line right here. So remember my example earlier? We should have the same amount of hours. So let's just say I'm going to use this much right here, okay? At the same amount of hours, your friend earns this much. This is your friend. Now you, on the other hand, in the same amount of hours, let me use yellow if you can see it, in the same amount of hours, you earn this much. So who earns more in the same amount of hours? You do, because this blue line is steeper, means it's almost vertical than the red line. So to answer the question, you earn a greater hourly wage than your friend. Okay, now to check this, let's see. And voila, it is right. Okay, let's do our last problem. Okay, for our last problem, it says your freezer produces 8 cubes every 2 hours. Your friend's freezer produces 24 ice cubes every 5 hours. Graph each ratio relationship in the coordinate plane. So how many ratios do we have here? We have 2. The first ratio is from your freezer for 8 cubes for every 2 hours. And the second ratio is from your friend's freezer produces 24 ice cubes every 5 hours. So we're supposed to graph each ratio relationship on the same graph. So that means we should have 2 lines on the graph, right? And the graph is also is already labeled for you. The x will be the number of hours, and the y-axis will be the ice cubes produced, and labeled tick marks. As you can see, this is 2. That means in between 0 and 2 is 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here we have 0 through 8. If you count the lines, are we going by 2s or by 1s? Let's check. Let's do by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. So each tick mark indicates a number 2, a multiple of 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, remember that. Okay, don't forget. And then to answer the question, whose freezer produces ice faster? Okay, so first thing we do for us to graph it is we need to have ordered pairs. So let's get ordered pairs by getting equivalent ratios of your freezer. Okay, then after we're done, we will get equivalent ratios of your friend's freezer. So let's check that out. Let's undo that. Okay. Now on this side, let's try, this is your freezer. So this is your freezer. Oh, I don't like that the color. It's too bright. Let's do this one. So your freezer. Now we already know our x-axis, our x will be our hours, and our y would be our, exactly, number of cubes. So this will be your x, and this will be your y. There you go. So let's try another color, and now let's try this color right here. So your x would be the hours, and your y would be the ice cubes. Now what do we have here? 8 ice cubes every 2 hours. So for 2 hours, we have 8 ice cubes. Another 2 hours, that's going to be 4, that's going to be 16. Another 2 hours, that's going to be 6, so 2, 4, 6. Add 8, 16, 16, add 8, that's going to be exactly 24. Now we have our ordered pair. So don't forget, this is our ordered pair. 2, 8, 4, 16, 6, and 24. Now let's try your friend's freezer. Let's do a red one. So your friend's freezer, okay, your friend's freezer, here we go. All right, smaller right here so we all can see. And they get different color, make it easier to see, and voila. Again, this is your x and this is your y. That means this is your hours and this is your ice cubes. Oops, ice cube. All right. Now, your friend's freezer says 24 ice cubes, so 24, and 5 for 5 hours. That means for 10 hours, you're going to get what? 48. Now, do we need the third ordered pair? We don't have to. So let's try graphing this. Hopefully this works. I'm going to use this. There we go. Close that. All right. So let's try this out. If we move this, there we go. Let's do your friend's freezer. So for your friend's freezer, go all the way down. Oops, not that one. This one right here. Okay, better. All right, so for your friend's freezer, it says for 2 hours, 8 cubes. So for 2 hours, go to 8. That would be it. Next, for 4 hours, 16. So we go 4 for time, hours, and 16. Make sure you do accurate. There you go. It already gave you a line. So let's try it on this, okay? So this would be your freezer. This is your freezer. Oops, it's blinking. Makes me dizzy. All right, let's try the next ratio relationship. So for 5 hours, 24 ice cubes. So for 5, that's between 4 and 6, so that's 5, 24. So we go up 24, and this is where 24 is. You see that? 24. Make sure that you're being accurate. Next, for 10 hours, your friend's freezer produces 48 ice cubes. For 10, it's going to be 10. For the 8, we go all the way up, and this is where 48 is, and it connects the line. So this would be your friend's graph. Undo that. Let me change the color to red. Make it easier to identify. So this would be your, oops, I need a marker. Okay, so this would be your friend's freezer. There you go. Disregard that part. Now, let's check. I'm going to use yellow. It says, whose freezer produces ice faster? How would we know? How would we know whose freezer produces ice faster? Okay, now, based from our previous example, with these two lines, which line do you think is steeper? Right? For these two lines, which line do you think, I need to get rid of this, but which line do you think is steeper? And that would be what? Exactly. It's going to be your friend's freezer. Because when you say steeper, it means what? The line is almost vertical. So check this example. In 4 hours, you or your freezer produces 16 ice cubes. But on the same amount of time, your friend produces more than 16 ice cubes because it's higher on the y-axis. It has more ice cubes produced at the same number of time as your freezer. So to answer the question, this would be, I'm just gonna move that, right? I'm gonna clear that up so make it clearer. Your friend's freezer produces ice faster because your friend's graph, oops, your friend's graph, this one right here, it's much steeper. There you go. Now let's check. And voila, it's right. So make sure you do your assignments. If you have any questions, make sure you write a comment on the Google Classroom post, okay? Or email me.